And I don't know if it's a thing to many people, but for me, I feel secondhand embarrassment watching that scene. Like, I think to myself, I'm embarrassed for you having to do these things. What did y'all think? Did y'all care at all for that end tag on the end of She-Hulk? Do you feel like it's a cringy moment? Because for me, that's the lamest stuff I've ever seen out of Kevin Feige's MCU. So. What's good, everybody? Welcome to Whole Views. Thank you for clicking that thumbnail. Today, we are going to be talking about She-Hulk, Episode 3. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't before. Most of the views come from people who aren't subscribed, and we would appreciate it if you would help us to reach our new goals to end the year of 2022. And let's talk about She-Hulk. One of the things that I like about the show, and I want to be very clear, y'all, I like the show, but there are some horrible, horrible moments throughout the show, and there are some moments that I really don't care for throughout the show. Episode 1, you had the little speech where, you know, she was angry. She was trying to get off the beach with Bruce, and, you know, Jennifer goes into all the woman stuff, and I didn't care for that one scene in particular, but I thought the episode was very good. Episode 2, more of the same, you know, real kind of cheeky type humor. They had a really good moment where they're really winking at the camera about Bruce being a different actor and all that stuff. Cool stuff from episode 2. Episode 3 continued the funny. Like, throughout the episode, it was funny. I liked the Megan Thee Stallion references, and her having a storyline in the show made a lot of sense, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the way that whole thing carried out. I really liked the storyline with Blonsky and, you know, / Abomination, and him getting vouched for by Wong, and like, okay, bam, he's back out in the world, and hopefully he actually turns out to be an asset and a good person overall. One other thing that I really liked about the episode was probably the B storyline. And when I talk about the B storyline, I'm gonna add the actor's name in here, but the guy who plays Adrian Chase on the Arrowverse, he played that version of Adrian Chase, and he was Prometheus in that show. He's here playing like a totally different, like, I've never seen this guy so docile, because I really only saw him there, and he was like vicious and very intimidating. Seeing him here and doing what he did in the B story, I was like, I kind of like it. The fact that they acknowledge it and call it the B story, you know, looking straight at the camera, fourth wall breaking, I guess. It's growing on me slightly, but I'm still not a huge fan of the fourth wall stuff. The only place I really like it is Rick and Morty. Don't even care too much when Deadpool do it. But seeing the Adrian Chase guy, again, name inserted, something about seeing him do what he did this episode, I found it to be very, very funny and just out of place and showing range for that actor. So, you know, there's some more cool stuff to the show. The show is a good show, but I would be remiss and I would be mistaken if I don't point out what I feel is the cringiest, lamest moment in the MCU, which is Jennifer as She-Hulk twerking with Megan Thee Stallion in the office. It was a useless scene, and it just points out some of the weirdness that goes along with the show. Like, the tone of the show is comical, and I feel it. I guess that was meant to be funny, but there's moments in comedy, and this happens in any type of comedy. It's not just Marvel stuff. It's not just, oh, because it's a woman. None of that stuff, which I did like that they addressed that stuff in the episode. Like, there was the whole, like, the He-Man woman haters. They showed up in the episode, and they highlighted the fact that there's gonna be men who just don't like it because she's a superhero. But that stuff aside, there's always moments in comedy where the comedy is just not hitting, and either it's super lame or it's super cringy. And I don't know if it's a thing to many people, but for me, I feel secondhand embarrassment watching that scene. Like, I think to myself, I'm embarrassed for you having to do these things. It just don't fit. It don't make sense. I don't like it. And it wasn't funny. It just seemed just weird. You know, like they take the steps to make it, you know, make people know that Disney is, you know, it's Disney, it's family friendly. And when they added R-rated movies and violent movies and stuff, it's like, oh, you got to put a pin in. But then at the same time, you know, She-Hulk is marketed to everybody, and you have this, and it's like, this is on the same stuff as everything else. Like, I don't know. I don't know if you call that family friendly, on top of just the fact that it's lame. More than not family friendly, just lame. Not fun, not funny. It looks, it's whack. It's whack. Whack, whack, whack. The cringiest. I've never seen the MCU attempt to be funny and fall flatter on their face, to me, than that moment. I thought that moment was the wackest. People always think about, different reasons as to why certain individuals jump on board. So Meg Thee Stallion, she did a little interview talking about the spot, and she said, I kind of like the idea of jumping into acting. I want to follow the path of, Queen Latifah and Ice Cube, two great actors who also started out as rappers. And I imagine if you're Disney, why are you so willing to put her in your stuff? I imagine it's to kind of broaden the audience. But who is a real hardcore Meg Thee Stallion fan that's gonna listen to her music and then hear about her in this show and then also watch this show because she's in it? I don't see many people who are hardcore fans of hers and never heard of She-Hulk now jumping on board She-Hulk. They might watch this one episode, they'll probably just watch the clips that are already circulating on Twitter, and this is the day of the episode. So they'll see as much as she appears in the episode. She's in there a very small amount, one line in the courtroom, per scene at the end. That is all. And it's that's not gonna translate into new viewers, so why even do it? I don't think it's gonna do anything for growing She-Hulk's audience with some crossover from Meg Thee Stallion, and I don't think Meg Thee Stallion is gonna get a bunch of new streams or a bunch of new listeners because she appeared in this. People are foolish enough to say, well, she's in She-Hulk, let me go see what she's made. They played this song at the end of the episode. It's no, you're not gonna get much of that happening either. I think what you see here with her in the episode, that's it. That was her only purpose for being there, and it's not my favorite moment. But I still think the show is good. You cut that in-tag scene off, and I was a solid episode. This is pretty funny. A lot of little funny moments. I liked it. Cut that damn end credit scene though. Didn't care for it. Didn't care for it one bit. What did y'all think? Did y'all care at all for that in tag on the end of She-Hulk? Do you feel like it's a cringy moment? Because for me, that's the lamest stuff I've ever seen out of Kevin Feige's MCU. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.